Only works for me, guys. Sorry. Yes, I know. Nobody does. It's my white hat. It's not lame. When I'm there's no slides. I mean, how's that? That's okay. It'll be good enough because these people want to talk Windows 8, and I don't blame them. Thank you. Now he blew me up again. There you go. All right, I'm going to talk quick before it goes away. All right. So we're going to talk about some Windows 8 research I did. I've spent the all of 2011 and 2012 building Windows 8 apps. Oh boy, for all right. We'll hope it stabilizes itself out a little bit. Um, and all of 2012 and 2012 building Windows 8 apps, part of 2010 actually, for Intel and then FedEx and then American Airlines. So I got a ton of experience with real world data sets and layout and all this stuff. I'm more of a middle tier developer, not so much a front end guy. So I always had an HTML guy helping me out, which is good because I stink at making things look pretty. Oh, this is going to be really interesting. All right. Well, I'll try to demo in between things. So what I want to do, and now I'm going to have to do it really fast because we only have 20 minutes, is show you some of the security-related things that I discovered with Windows 8. And there's quite a few of them. But for those of you who aren't familiar with Windows 8 apps, I'm not going to show you anything because this is going to continue blowing up on me. All right. Yeah, but I don't normally go to this. I've been going to this screen. It just does it when it's sitting at Visual Studio. Um, so this is the vaunted Windows 8 start screen that everybody hates. There are Windows 8 style applications that are full screen. Basically, they're mobile apps, right? They're iOS style, Android style applications that run full screen in a sandbox. In boy in an application inside of the Windows kernel that is very tightly controlled. But you can build these applications very easily using the existing tools that Microsoft gives us in Visual Studio. Um, oops, that's not what I meant to do. What's really cool about it, though, is, oops, if we do Shift N, it's been a while since I've done this. You can, as you would expect, still build in .NET, right? So we can use XAML with the .NET framework to build Windows 8 applications. That's a little frustrating. As long as it comes back. We can also use C++ and XAML to build Windows 8 applications, which is very slick. But what's most interesting is that JavaScript is now a first-class citizen on... I don't want to save the correct... I don't want to do that. Hang on. JavaScript is now a first-class citizen. Here, I'll just open one of these to give you an idea. JavaScript is now a first-class citizen in the Windows development world. So you can quite literally build a HTML and JavaScript application and then put it on the Windows Store and sell it. And people run it just like they would run an iOS app or anything like that. So if you have a slick JavaScript game that you've built, you can quite literally copy it over, make a Visual Studio project, copy the code over, compile it as a Windows 8 app, upload it, jQuery and all, and then it will run as a Windows 8 application. Yes, okay, there's a little bit of tweaking you have to do here and there to make it look right and respond to touch maybe and all those things. Well, not respond to touch, but treat touch nicely. But all the touch activity, all the Windows integration, all that stuff comes baked in on a new API that Microsoft developed called WinJS. So it is it's a very, very easy platform to build for. Orders of magnitude easier than building for iOS and Android. But because Microsoft totally screws up every single thing that they do with relationship to mobile, everybody hates it. But the fact is that it's gonna be on a whole lot of machines, including everybody's offices, in a couple years. Whether you like it or not, whether you have store access or not, these Windows 8 apps are going to be running on your office's machines. I'm checking every now and then to make sure I'm still running. And you need to be ready for it, because not only is your company going to be asking you to build Windows 8 apps, oh boy, but also you are going to have to decide if people can run things on their bring their own device apps and stuff on your local network. So let's talk a little bit about that. One of the interesting things I discovered, I'm just going to rip through some stuff and then we can chat about it at the bar. So one of the interesting things I discovered is when you work in Windows 8, unless you're on an enterprise system and you have an Active Directory, okay? A normal human, hold up your Surface. A normal human device, a bring your own device that you have personally is going to be linked to your Microsoft account, which used to be AKA Microsoft Passport, AKA Live account, all that stuff. The same thing you sign into your Xbox with, or if you're an MSDN, Microsoft developer, you sign into your MSDN with, or if you're an Ops guy, you sign into TechNet with, whatever. It's if you're old enough, it's your Hotmail account. Way back in the day, Passport would only accept a hotmail.com domain, which is why I'm Sempf at hotmail.com. And if you look up here, I am logged in as my Windows account. The same thing that my Live ID is and my Xbox and everything is all connected together. And I can touch that directly from here. So if I can run this little, and these are all just little samples. They're not pretty or anything. They just do something very specific. So here's an identity services. Apparently, I don't have my breakpoint set. So hang on for a second. Let's stop that. Oh yes, it is. It just took a second to come back. So what I have here is I have I'm using the Windows Live API that's baked into Windows 8 to go and do an OAuth transaction with Windows Live's account services, and I'm sending my logged in token from Windows 8 up to Windows servers to get account information about my account online, and I can come back and get this JSON response, which I'm sorry is really small. That's why I told everybody to move up, but you can't change those font sizes. And it has all of my profile information baked into it. What's that? Yeah, but every time I do that, I can't get it zoomed back out. So just trust me. It's the same as any other OAuth style login, right? You get back, you do the OAuth transition, and then you get back some kind of a profile blob if you ask for it once you're authenticated, right? It's the same basic idea as what you do with Twitter or LinkedIn or anything else. The only difference is that with Windows Live, once they have accepted my settings when they first install it, if I ask for more stuff in my scope later, Windows never asks me again. So if I update my application and then ask for everything, I get it, and they never ask for another approval again. So you have to consider you personally, and also consider this possibility. Okay, somebody has their Surface, and they go to work for your company, and they want to log on with the Windows Live account they use for work. Okay, this application now has access to that person's work profile without them having to approve it again. So the user's not even going to think about it. So is there a privacy or if you have to be PCI or HIPAA compliant, there's account data information related to that. So that's one thing I found that was really interesting. And yeah, I'm going to kind of whip through these things, especially since the blinking behind me is kind of distracting. Local storage is another interesting, especially for PCI compliance. So if we run local storage, let's say I'm going to have to follow my instructions a little bit on this one. It's kind of hard. Okay, so we're going to close this, and we're going to launch this app, and I'm connected to, it doesn't matter, it's local storage. Okay, so I've got this stupid little app that's just got a button. I don't know why I didn't make it just on the on-activated, but I didn't. Can you see? Okay, real quick while you can see. All it does is it sets a value in this block called local settings. Local settings is a small cookie-like database inside of Windows 8 that allows a developer to set to store data that's real small. It's like a meg or less. Do you happen to know what it is, Jimmy? Okay. For local settings?
Depending on whether or not you have a SkyDrive account.
Well, that's the roaming settings, right? Which is a different class. We'll get to that in a minute. But local settings is real small. It's not, you can't put a bunch of data in here, but you can put some data in here, and that's real good because you can't save data anywhere else in Windows 8. You can't touch a database. You can't keep a distribute and access database with your application. You can't do any of that stuff. So if you want to have data saved from run to run in your device, you've got to put it someplace, and local settings is a great place to put it if you don't want to have to write a back-end service and all this stuff. So if we go through and we continue to run this application, and we click our button, and then, oh, I forgot to start my thing isn't started anymore. Oh, hang on for a second. So we want to see PROC. We go look at Procmon, and that's the filter we want. So now we're going to run Procmon, and we're going to do this again. Let's see if it'll just run again for me. Okay, so we go look at Procmon, and here are the writes that it did for us. The two writes it did. So if I say, oh, this is really interesting, I want to go here, and I want to copy that key, and let's go look at this file. So this is the local settings, okay? So this is stuff that you may not really want people to be able to see, right? Scores or paths to things on your web server or whatever. But if you actually go look at the file, you'll find out that it's just oh, this isn't very big either, but you can get the idea. The content doesn't matter. It's just unencrypted XML. So if you're writing Windows 8 apps, you need to understand that local settings is just writing unencrypted XML files to the hard drive in an accessible directory that the user can go in and change, and the application will still run. Okay? Now, what I haven't done yet, and I have half of a demo on this, but I haven't done the TLS inversion bit and stuff. I'm not a Wireshark guru. But there's another class called remote settings. And what it does exactly the same thing, saves exactly the same data into Azure on a TLS link up to Azure in a blob that's secured to your Windows Live account. Okay, and then the idea is if you sign in on another machine, if I go pick up Jimmy's Surface here and sign into my account, I will be able to see the same data. So if I'm playing a game and I get to level 6 and I go sign into his Surface and load up the game, I'll be on level 6, which is really slick. Unless you're writing a banking application and you're using remote settings, or even worse, a healthcare application, and you're using remote settings, and that's just sitting unencrypted in XML on Azure somewhere in the world. Because then we have a PCI problem. So I haven't yet determined if, I know it's encrypted in transit. I haven't determined if it's encrypted on Azure's, on SQL Azure or not.
If I remember correctly, it's encrypted with your app's private.
Well, that's what.
Your app's key ID is not
Yeah,
private.
but see, they said that about a lot of stuff, like local settings and like something I'm going to show later. So I don't trust them. I don't trust them because they said local settings was encrypted too, and it's obviously not. We just looked at it. So take it under advisement. Anyway, so that's one more thing. How we go? We're whipping through this stuff. This is awesome. Okay, so there's some security implications pieces. There are a couple of cool, and this is really funny with you sitting in the center of the front row. There are some nice security pieces baked in into Windows 8, and so the new .NET, right, for Windows 8 is called WinRT, not to be confused with Windows RT, which is the ARM version of Windows, right? So this is the Intel version of Windows 8. Well, sorry about my blinky lights back. Are you? Oh, you're about the naming. So Windows RT is the ARM-based Windows. Is that a regular Surface or a Pro? So that's a Surface he's got, and it's got ARM on it, so it's running Windows RT. Okay, WinRT is the new DLL. Is this thing getting worse behind me? Is it getting worse? Is it getting worse? Oh, great. It is the new COM, yes, because .NET really isn't going anywhere. It's on top of WinRT now, so it's kind of the new COM.
.NET was the original new COM.
Well, except it wasn't really, it's really, it was kind of the new original COM Plus, sort of,
Yes.
but, oh, what a mess. So now you understand why Microsoft developers drink more than security people. So if we go look, so there's some hashing baked in. Mr. Bird here can tell us a little bit about the hashing thing, but I'm not going to completely put him on the spot. But I can show you that it's in here and that there's a couple of choices. There is a whole namespace. Shoot. Yeah, Windows.security.cryptography, which has all of the hashing baked into it for use directly in WinRT. So you don't have to reach into Win32 to do your hashing. The problem is, it's slow. Really, really slow. I don't know. It might be doing COM in the background. I don't know. But it is so slow. But I've been told that Windows 8.1 is better. So hopefully it is. Anyway, there's a fine selection of hashes that you can use. And I've been playing, although I haven't done anything with it, so I shouldn't brag about it anymore. But I was working on a bcrypt implementation, which probably somebody's already done since I've waited so long. Have they?
I know there's some important analysis.
Perfect. Good start. Anyway, so we have hashing. So we like hashing, right? So I showed you the Windows Live piece, but that's not the only piece. You can do OAuth. Oh, no, there you go. Baked in. So I can. So this is my OAuth. My app is just starting, right? Just my app is running, and bang, it wants me to log in with Facebook. Just like that. Now you think, oh, that's pretty slick, right? How did you go about doing that, Mr. Sempf? And I'll say, I'll tell you how I did that in a minute. There is this, and now I'm not going to tell you it's one line of code, but it really actually kind of is. That is actually the only line of code that matters in this program, and it's the Web Authentication Broker. And the Web Authentication Broker does OAuth for you, and it handles all the UI stuff and everything. You don't have to code anything. You just use that, and it shows up the way you saw it on the screen here. So the fact that OAuth is baked in is awesome, because one of my main pieces that I'm trying to tell people writing mobile applications is stop building applications that require you to manage user accounts. We don't need to do that anymore. Stop doing it. Now with Microsoft piece, you can use OAuth natively. It makes it much, much easier to get that work done. Oh yes, one of my favorite features. I'm going to rip through it. Is the 5 o'clock speaker here yet? No, I was waiting for somebody to raise their hand. One of my favorite features. How did I do this before? Turning on. Oh, that's right. I have to. Let's see here. I have to kill my network to do this, which is going to be a pain in the butt. Well, I'm going to do it anyway because it's neat. It's a neat demo. So, are you the 5 o'clock speaker? I am. Oh, good. Okay. Well, not good because, yeah, but it's still good. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna. So one of the coolest things. So when you're testing, how many testers do I have? Pen testers, vulnerability testers do I have here? Anybody? Nobody. Well, you don't count anymore. Okay, aside from you. When you're testing an application, one of the best ways to learn stuff about it is to throw a bunch of crap at it and make it show you big ugly error messages. Information disclosure is number one, right? So, boy, I hope this thing treats you better than it's treating me. Quick, run it while it's working. No, it's not working. Hang on. Oh, see if it's gonna come back in time. Oh. Uh-oh. It finally died for good. Okay, and there it's going to blow up. Okay, good. Quick look. I turned off the network, and I made a service call. And I didn't handle it with a structured error exception. Structured error handler. What happened? The app just blew up. That's what it does when it reaches an unhandled critical exception. It just explodes, which is unquestionably one of the neatest features I've ever seen in any Windows application ever, because normally they barf up and put a huge error message on the screen and show you tons and tons and tons of crap. I'm going to show you one thing real fast, and then I'll be done. Yes, it just, the app goes away. MS app.terminate app. Am I still up? This is the base code for WinJS. It just blows up. It just kills it. Real quick, and then I promise I'll get out of your way. When you are building these applications, no. Please remember one thing. All of the source code is available to the user. Oh, where's MetroPass? Let's pick one. So this is a .NET application. They're not nearly as fun. Barnes & Noble's also a .NET application. Netflix is also a .NET application. Well, there's one of them. I just never can remember what it is. Yours is .NET. Anyway, you can actually go view. Here's a JS one. I didn't do anything. I just surfed to it. So when you're writing Windows 8 applications, keep in mind defensive coding, because your source code's openly available. They said the packages will be encrypted. They are not. They are openly available. You can just go in and look at them. I have a blog post about it on my blog. I have a bunch of new people that wanted to see you speak. But if for those of you who were following along, Sempf.net, some of you know me, so that'll be easy. And you can go read about that. Thank you very much. I'm going to get out of their way.